Good morning, all. I welcome our chairman, Mr. Syed Mohammed Berry, Mr. Mazhar Berry, uh, trustee, Berry's Academy of Learning, our principal, Ashok Mendonca, our HOD, Mrs. Ruxana, fellow faculty, all our students, guests, and guest speakers to our first biannual lecture. I would like to introduce architect Anand Iyer and architect Brinda Kannan. I thank both of them for kindly accepting to speak today. Architect Anand Iyer, an eminent academician and architect, has a special relationship with our school. He was here when Beats was founded and welcomed our first batch to our college. He is here today when our first batch has just passed out. They are going into the wide world to do their bit for the glory of our institution and themselves. I wish them all the best in their future endeavor. I request our chairman, Mr. Syed Mohammed Berry, to say a few words to our students and our guests.
A very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
My dear Anand Iyer, Architect Brinda Kannan, uh, Architect Ashok Mendonca, Ruxana, and all faculty members and students. The pandemic has posed a great deal of challenges. What was there 10 months back, it is not the case today. What was actual has become virtual. It is a time where we have time at our disposal. When I'm saying it is for the general public, not for me, I'm as busy as ever. But generally speaking, people got time. They want to spend time with their dear and near ones, their family and friends, but they can't do it. It is always handshake, and hugging is a human culture. It's an Indian culture, but we can't do that now. We have everything at our disposal, but we cannot do it, and that is a result of this pandemic, and that is the power of the Creator. When we realize that the power of the Creator is so huge and stupendous, and then one cannot imagine to what extent it can go. And the best part is in this pandemic, there is nothing is there to pose these challenges. We don't see it. When you talk of this COVID-19, what is that COVID-19? Till date, there are basic argument not only with us, even with the medical professionals. There is a fundamental difference in how two doctors, who are learned from the same background, same exposition, but they think differently. There are great deal of people even now, they challenge, they question the very existence of COVID-19 aspect. So in this challenging time, and when we realize the power of the Creator, and when we say who's architect in his own way or in her own way, he is also a creator. He is not like anybody else. Architect is a creator of a space, creator of a place, and that creation is it is essentially started with the for the people. We create space for the people, but today it is not only people. I would rather say creator of space for the creatures, all type of creatures, not only for the people, animal, birds, and so on and so forth. And it is started as a roof over the head. Then came the shelter, then came comfort to convenience, and finally it is a societal happiness. That is what architecture is meant for. So one side, we are now the architecture fraternity known as a creator. Other side, eventually the entire world is working for the happiness, and that too not the individual happiness, It is a societal happiness. When that is a case, imagine how an architect should be. Architect cannot be just an architect by 10 semester, 5 years, few project work, 2, 3 NASA, and the submission of the paper, and got the award, and we become the architect. No, my friend. For me, that is not architecture, because I see life in a different perspective. Being a school dropout, I can't see the way you see it. I see it totally different. I see in a reality check. I see how and what way we can make difference to the society at large. That is my view of architecture, and that is precisely the reason among the many institutes we have started. When architecture we started, it was a great deal of aspiration, and I cannot imagine. Anand can tell you people, because Anand was there on the inaugural. He is a man who's organized the whole thing. He's the one who gave me a great deal of insight. When we started the school. Because my life, I also a real estate man, and from the beginning, from the day one, it was always there for architecture. The design, dreaming, trying to create something unique, something different. And then nature by default it has come in my life. Taking birth in Mudigere, such a wonderful hills and valleys of coffee estate, and raised in Kundapur, Kodi, right front of Arabian Sea. The love for nature, love for concern for the nature, it has all come by birth. There is nothing, nobody has taught me how to go about. And precisely for that, till date, whatever the project we have made, we never cut the tree. We always try to respect the nature. And every project of ours is nature centric. Primary thing is a nature centric. Without knowing what is sustainability, without knowing what is green building, without knowing what is carbon credit, from inception we always done that. And with that background, with that aspiration, with that some kind of a junoon, some kind of a craze thing, because I always felt at that time when we started, we are almost 1.2 more than 1.2 billion population, and at that time the world recognized Indian architects were only 2. That is Charles Correa, the late Charles Correa, and other side B.B. Joshi. And that used to disturb me a great deal. That what is this? 1.2 billion and 2 people, and in that again, the God's will, the Charles Correa is no more with us. I pray to God that may his departed soul rest in peace. So where we are missing? Where is that? We couldn't create that world class architects. And my architecture is not world class for the sake of it. The world class is not that how many million square foot we have designed. That is not a world class. World class should make a difference for the societal happiness. That saga, what is that? What we leave behind? What is the word we use? What is the word we use? The legacy. The legacy, what we leave behind. That is important. Only then we will recognize. Yesterday I was talking to Mr. Anand Iyer. We were discussing about Sinan, the world-renowned architect. You cannot imagine, from Turkey. And people not only thought, they mentioned, that how could it possible a human being can do so much, so diversified in so little time. The reason, according to me, for all that is where the purity of heart is coming to play. And that is precisely we have mentioned in our engineering college. At that time, there was no architect. When we started engineering college way back in 2009, we said on the main building, we have put this as our motto: purity of heart, clarity of mind. Even for engineers, I said that this is important. But when we started in architecture school, I said this is more important for the architects, because architects is the one who design, his mind is, he's always dreaming. He's always trying to create something out of the box, something more, more suitable to the respective location. He's always engaged. His mind is always engaged. So for that, for the successful architect, clarity of mind is the foremost important. To get the clarity of mind, the purity of heart is very, very important. And sorry to say, my friends, I see that is missing. It doesn't mean that all are same, but the real value of, the purity of heart is missing. And when the purity of heart is missing, clarity of mind will not help us. And without the clarity of mind, we cannot make it big. We cannot make it enduring, so that the legacy will continue. That is one part. Second part, every institute, architecture institute become famous because they contribute to the development of their town or their village or their surrounding. That is where they contribute. Because with the due respect, according to me, our social infrastructure, the social infrastructure, but even the footpath, right, from starting with the footpath, to the public garden, to the meeting place, everything is a big question mark. There is the architecture design, the detailing is missing. I mean, in Ahmedabad, the school, SEPT become famous in Ahmedabad because they contributed to the city of Ahmedabad. And that is what the Beats should do to the city of Mangalore or the surrounding area. That is where the institution comes to, it becomes recognized by the people, by the discerning people, by the academia and by the industry. And that is how we have to develop. And that requires a great deal of, I always say this way, that individual commitment, collaborative effort, and collective leadership. That is what we require. And it applies 100% when it comes to architecture. It is an individual commitment. Every architecture student should commit to himself or herself for excellence. And excellence should not become once in a while. Excellence should become, way of our life. We will not do anything which is mediocre. We will not do anything which is run of the way. We will do something, which got a great deal of human values. And the great things comes not only with the architecture or your presentation. It again starts from our heart. Heart gives a direction to the mind, and mind gives a direction to the hand. And it is important today. Everything is computerized. But I appeal to, I call on to all the faculty members. Make sure that at least one class, every day, at least 1 hour, they must have pencil in their hand. They must scribble it. They must design it by hand, because God's creation is with this finger. It is that the sensorial, we say, the sensorial aspect comes in the finger. We must allow them. We must force them. We must prevail upon them that it is not the computer-based cut and paste. Then unfortunately everything will go into the cut and paste. Things have become so easy. But if architect also goes for the cut and paste, then future will be dangerous. Then architect is not architect till such time he should have the ability, he should have the understanding to make his design, how to make it as a block model. That is where you start realizing that the challenges you are going to face in building the same architecture. Then you will come to the real sense. Then you will realize that what is possible, what is not possible. It doesn't mean that it is not possible you try to cut down the architecture. No, you challenge yourself that if the cantilever is for 24 meter, how to make it happen. No, 24 meters is too long, it's not possible, so make it to 6 meter. That is not architecture. We need to challenge ourselves, how it is possible. And that is where architecture should not be in isolation. Architecture should come with the other engineering. Whether it is civil engineering, whether it is mechanical engineering, and for IBMS, we need to go for electronic and communication. To map up the whole thing, we need computer engineering. So that means architecture, you cannot think in isolation now. Architecture is expanded expanded to such an extent that we have to. It is not that by design, by default, you need to talk to your colleagues. There comes the pride kind of a thing, one-upmanship. No, we are architects, they are engineers. No, that will not work. Because whatever your design, whatever you may think, you wanted to create, unless and until the civil engineering guy or a mechanical engineering guy and others are not going to give you a helping hand, then you will realize, that it is not possible. Even today, we are doing one large development that architect has come out with a beautiful design, and that architect whose experience is more than all of our students' age. But he realized that there is a challenge. So what he does, he is not talking to one more architect. He is talking to our Ishwaran sir, who got 45 years of experience. He is asking him, sir, how to make it happen, how to build it. I have designed it, but I don't know how to make it happen. A 45 years experience, civil engineer is helping one of the renowned architects of India. I don't want to name it. I don't take his name now. So that is architecture. So the point here is, are we ready for this kind of challenges? And to get that challenges, again, very simple. Whatever you may say, whatever you may do and think is a modern world. Say Barry is talking. He's a old generation. And he cannot think what my new generation thinks and etc. My friend, Satyameva Jayate. Truth will always remain truth only. You cannot bring falsehood and make it a truth. And happiness, I repeat, happiness comes not with amassing. Happiness comes with the giving. You want happiness, you must prepare to give, not to take. Because what is required, what we need to take, that is there by default. God has already destined. And we will not get one chapati more or one idli less. We will get exactly what is destined to us. So when the materialistic world is predetermined, in the spiritual world, in the other world, why we do in this manner? It is always giving. And architecture, as you imagine, for India, for Indian, it is a pride that every Indian should become such a unique and great architect by seeing the kind of Mohenjo-daro, the kind of the temples what you see in southern India, South India, mainly in Chennai and those areas, by seeing our Vijayanagar, dynasty, the architecture aspect, by Taj Mahal. Imagine Taj Mahal, 52-degree outside, 24-degree inside, without the interface of any mechanical, item. How they have done it? How it is possible? Qutub Minar, Red Fort. I mean, you name it. The gardens, the way it has been designed. Even today, we think about. People come from all over the globe, and not any Tom, Dick, and Harry. The leaders, the US president, the French president, they come, and for them it is a lifelong goal that they come with a backdrop, one shot, where the husband and wife can stand hand in hand, and that is their dream. And that dream is created by we Indians. You may say that, no, they have come from Turkey or Persia, whatever, but it is on Indian soil. It is the Indian people's blood, sweat, and tears. It is the Indian, emperor. So that is how we must upgrade ourselves. Otherwise, you'll become one more, mediocre, one more architect. Do some drawing and some cut and paste, take some printout and then give it and over. No, honestly, beads, when we started, that was not our intent. Our intent was something beyond all that. So naturally, where you expected more, where things are not happening, you will be also disappointed more in the same manner. And I am the disappointed person today. Perhaps in my talk, perhaps my in talk, there's a raised voice, there's a bit of aggressiveness, there's a bit of, hurt. It is all because I'm not satisfied with our own performance. And I'm not a person to, patting on the back like a politician. I don't do that. I must tell you, my friends, it is not, I'm not talking to the students alone. I'm talking to the faculty members first, because I'm a teacher's son. I know what the teacher is all going to be. To get the students to raise their bar, first we must raise the bar. And raising the bar is nothing other than, if you want the success, if we want a success, we have to ready for the sacrifice. You take a coin, keep a coin. Everybody should keep a coin in their in his or her pocket or bag or wherever. One coin we must keep it, and that coin you must every day you must see it. I want to become successful. What is that one thing wherein I can become a successful person? You may say 101 things. Hard work, smart work, and to be honest with you, there is no smart, my dear. Work is a work, and it is hard work. It is a blood, sweat, and tears. There is no smart work. It is hard work. In an IT world, people say, no, sir, people have to be smart work. No, it doesn't work like that. So if that one thing which can bring us success, it is nothing other than sacrifice. We are ready to sacrifice. And that sacrifice, not for the appraisal or promoting self. No, it is beyond that. That sacrifice is required, and by the grace of God, in our own way, we don't. I'm not an architect. I told you, I'm a school dropout. We don't have any. We have just about 3 architects in our firm working, but we put a lot of effort. When we contact our architect, we contact the right kind of an architect. And we brief them in a manner that architect also feels happy. And that is how our relationship with the most of the practicing architecture, fraternity. You name the big name from Pan India and outside. We have a very good respect and regard because we respect their profession. And with that in mind, we started an architecture school. But when we started architecture school, it was a great deal of disappointment. Today, I will tell you, right now, there was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, capital of Saudi Arabia, they want to build a mosque. And that mosque should be a sustainable green mosque. So, and naturally, they got a lot of money and everything. So, a lot of foreign agency and architecture firm made a presentation. But that was not impressive enough for them to take it. They're again a big group. And then what happened? They started looking at. It so happened that, that's the reason I'm saying everything is preordained or predestined. One of their person happened to see our Kodi Mosque documentary film. So when he saw the documentary film, he felt nice about, because whatever they are looking at, it is all there in our mosque design. Then one of their person contacted us. Then we contacted one architecture firm, and worked out on a design. Can you imagine Saudi Arabia, which is a Muslim country, rather birth of Islam in Saudi Arabia, they are asking us to design a mosque in their capital city. It's like Vatican asking Chinese to design a church or a cathedral. It is like that. So we are not signed the contract, but by the grace of God, if you see the architecture, you will say that it's like a wonder. It is going to do a game changer in the design of architecture. In a place like Riyadh, we are not going to use. You have made it as a passive air conditioning, and we told them very clearly in the beginning itself. Normally with a rich and big client, people will simply say Haji, Haji. But we didn't do that. We told them very clearly that, sir, our architecture aspect of this mosque will be first, it will be in simple, unique, elegant. It will not have that flashy thing and chandelier and big thing. Nothing will be there. That is the first prerequisite. Second thing we said, there won't be any carpet. And thank God, pandemic helped us in making them agree for without carpet. Otherwise, any mosque in a Gulf country, their competition is how much thick is their carpet, whether it is 4-inch or whether it is 8-inch. We said no, there is no carpet. And the third thing we said, it is all white on white. And the fourth thing we bought in about mosque should not be just a mosque which is used for half an hour in 5 times a day. It should become a community center. It should become a happening place. So with this prerequisite, they have accepted for all that. It is not that we made them to accept. Many a case they themselves was in the same manner. So there was a meeting of minds, and then we designed. So in our own manner, because of our attitude to go for excellence, when we managed to get mosque design for Riyadh, and God willing, we are also designing a terminal building. A terminal building. I know because of the NDA, I'm not in a position to showcase. It is like birds soaring into the sky. When we do that, with the Beats back of at our disposal, we wanted Beats to take this initiative. Beats professors, Beats students, they should take this initiative. That was our endeavor. That was our desire. But is that happening? So I will leave these few thoughts. And life is not that easy. Life is a challenge, but you must accept it in a nice way, and start having that the habit of giving that will give you happiness. And whatever we do, realize one thing. We are all, God has given us this opportunity. Otherwise, it is not that we are the only come from Venus or somebody come from Mars. It is an opportunity given by God, by His grace. When the opportunity comes, along with the opportunity, there is a responsibility. And along with the responsibility comes, it is an opportunity, it is a responsibility, and the accountability. At these 3 words, I will leave it to you. Thank you very much. I will not seek sorry from our people, but I will definitely seek sorry from Anandaya. He should in there say, there is a kya baat kiya yaar. Inaugural talk should have been so nice, happy, and all that. But he is very, very aggressive. So maaf kare bhaiya. And Brinda, perhaps I'm seeing you for the first time. So you must have had a shock of your life, perhaps. What kind of a chairman is this guy? He doesn't know what to talk where. But I only know, Brinda, that we don't do man ki baat, we do dil ki baat. And we don't do tol mol ke bol, we do dil kol ke bol. So this is my feeling, I'm telling you, and I pray to God that may God make our effort easy, make our journey successful, meaningful, and virtuous. And may God, take something enduring, something good for the humanity, from our life, from our services, so that when we leave this world, the legacy should speak about all of us. Thank you. Good luck. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your words. I'm now going to introduce our guests to everyone. I have architect Anand Iyer. He has studied architecture from SEPT University, Ahmedabad, and critical theory from Nottingham University, England. Over the past 20 years, apart from professional work with design firms, he has worked with state and central government in India on policy and program management in the field of sustainable urban development and climate change. With the development agencies as independent consultant in sustainable development, urban capacities and cooperation. With the private sector on strategy and planning in renewable energy, infrastructure and green building, and as an academic coordinator professor and academic advisor in architecture and design at different universities in India. His work centers around organization, development, and people processes. His research interests lie in the social, political, and ideological perspectives that inform sustainable urban development, while his passion remains in history and the humanities. He has written, worked, and lectured widely in his work areas. He has qualified as a pilot for the Indian Air Force before pursuing architecture. And he has worked in a call center for many months and wrote an essay on labor in post-industrial age. And this is the very important for him, for on our side, for us, is that he has worked in 2008 for the government of Gujarat, approved by the then chief minister, and he has done also in 2017 for the government of India under the honorable prime minister, who is coincidentally the same person. Welcome, sir. I now introduce architect Brinda Kannan. She is the principal architect and founding partner at Datta Kannan Partners, formerly Datta Kannan Architects. DKP is an award-winning multidisciplinary design firm that explores architecture, interior design, master planning, and product design, to name a few verticals. She also runs a studio, Hybrid Art, that explores new typologies of design and explores multiple aspects of design through competitions. Brinda holds a master's degree in digital design from the University of Illinois at Chicago and the University of Texas at Arlington. At UT Arlington, Brinda won the Texas Architectural Foundation Award. In Chicago, Brinda worked with CUPA, that is College of Urban Policy and Planning Administration, on the Gary Riverfront Revival Project, Indiana. Brinda was part of the HOK New York office, where she planned competition-winning hospital projects across the USA. She later moved to London to expand her experience and worked on aviation projects in the UK and UAE while at Pascal and Watson. Her experience in India includes the Bangalore Metro Rail Station and terminals designs, luxury private residences, and commercial buildings. Her current passion is high-end bespoke interiors for retail and residences. Brinda is an avid nature lover and loves spending time outdoors with a brood of 5 dogs. Welcome, Brinda. And
thank you, Aurobindo. Thank you, Mr. Berry. Mr. Mendoka, we spoke, I think, a couple of minutes ago. Thank you so much for having me on the show.